Okay, so New Order. New Order is an interesting band because, well, you may have heard of New Order, but they weren't always New Order, you see. This band actually began as Joy Division, and sadly, one of the band members, the lead singer, Ian Curtis, ended up taking his own life. So the band decided to change the name to New Order after that, and Bernard Summers would become the new lead singer, who you hear in most of the songs, if not all the songs. But yeah, that's a little. If you didn't know that, there you go. There's something, you learn anyway. Well, number 10, what is my least favourite New Order album? I don't know how, honestly, I don't think people are going to really get mad at me for saying this. I think it's quite obvious choice, to be fair. But my least favourite New Order album is Get Ready from 2001. And honestly, this album just doesn't really... It's just doesn't feel like New Order. That is honestly the best way I can put this album as a whole. It was a weird time, to be honest with you. This was just... It doesn't really... They basically went all out with the guitars. And they took away kind of the stuff I liked about New Order, which was the synth and electronic part kind of side, which they kind of have from most of their albums. But this album just doesn't really have any of that. It's very guitar heavy, and I think this doesn't sound bad. I think it's a good album if you're into that. Personally, it's going out of my genre and into other genres, and honestly, the only reason I can even tell that it's New Order is because of the voice, lead singer Bernard Summers. But without that, I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you that this is New Order, and that is just the honest thing. I don't really have even any standout songs in this, in my opinion. I mean, Crystal's the kind of most popular song on that, which is kind of funny actually, because the band they use in the video is called The Killers, and it's actually before The Killers, so this kind of inspired the actual Killers to come up with their song, with their band name, which is honestly quite funny. That's a fun little fact for you there. But yeah, I don't know, there's really not really a song I liked that much from this. Like, yeah, there's not, I don't really have anything to say, because I didn't like a single song, not even Crystal, which is the big song as I mentioned earlier. And for that reason, yeah, it's a number 10. I don't think New Order has any bad albums necessarily, but there isn't a single song that I even enjoy on this album. It's just past my... It doesn't feel like New Order anymore when I hear this album. And that's why it's a number 10. Sorry to all the Get Ready fans. And at number 9 is maybe people's other one that, if they're like the two I think people would mostly agree with being in the bottom, is this, Get Ready, and at number 9 is obviously Republic. Yeah, don't worry, I don't like Republic that much either. Like, the only reason Republic's actually up here is at number, well, it's not really that far, but at number 9 instead of number 10 for me is because it has one of my favorite New Order songs, and also it does have, it there's two songs I like, and they're obviously the popular. I'm not gonna even try to. I'm sorry to be boring, but I Regret and World are the two standout songs on this album. Like Regret's a really good song, and then World is just a fun. World's a fun song, you know. Everyone knows that song. It's a great fun little song, and honestly, that's all I've got to say. That's all I got to say with this album. Everything else is just kind of really weak, and it just dies in quality, to be completely honest with you. Like, you hear this album at first and you think, damn, this is really good. And it's like, that was peak. The opener and the second song, Sensitive Thoughts or anything really in this, it's just kind of all over the place. And yeah, not really a fan of it. I can understand why you would put this at number 10, honestly. I think that's fair, but the reason this isn't at number 10 and it's at number 9 is because there's actually songs I like and I actually on this, whereas Get Ready, I don't like any of the songs on Get Ready, but Regret and World are carrying this album. But I don't think that's good enough, because two songs are not going to save this album. It's just listen to the first two songs and then just stop. Like, honestly, that's my opinion on this album. It's not very good. So yeah, that's what I gotta say about Regret. No Republic. So at number 8, it is Lost Sirens, which is a bit of an interesting one again. There's been a lot of weird places when it comes to New Order's kind of going through their albums over time. And here is a weird one. So this is the second to last album they have done. This is the 9th album they made. But it's actually a part 2 to another album we're going to talk about later on. I think this is the weaker out of the two. And the only reason I think this is better than Republic is because I think this has better songs in general. But there are two songs that I like quite a lot on this album. And that is Sugarcane and Hellbent. I think I like them songs. I don't know if that's a bad opinion, but they are the two standout songs in my opinion on this album. And everything else is just okay. Again, it's way better than Republic. I can tell you that. Like, there's quite a big leap in enjoyment here, but even still, it's just weird, you know. This is a weird album because it was meant to come out way earlier. Like, it didn't release till 2013, and the album before that came out in 2005, I think. So, you know, there's a massive gap, and that's because something big happened in between this. But this was recorded the same time as the first album, and they were just matched 2 different parts, and it just all kind of ended up not going well, and I think it really let this album down. Yeah, again, I don't have much else to say. Again, like, Sugarcane and Hellbent are the two obviously standouts, in my opinion, of my favourite songs on this album by a long shot. And I just think overall it's a better album than Republic, and that's why it's at number 8. So at number 7, it is part 1, Waiting for the Siren's Call. Although this album is better than Lost Sirens, it's not by much in my opinion. But I will say this is quite. I respect that they kind of went back to their roots with this album compared to Get Ready, because this is the album that came out before Get Ready, and this is, in my opinion, a lot more New Order like than Get Ready. so I can respect them for that. This was actually also Peter Hook's last album that he contributed to, because again, they had a bit of a fallout. Well, yeah, they had a massive fallout when they were making it public, and it never really, they never really stayed friends, honestly. And eventually, not long after this album, he ended up leaving the band. So yeah, they lost Peter Hook. So this is Peter Hook's last album that technically did, although because it was done in 2 parts, Peter Hook's kind of still, I think Peter Hook's still in Lost Sirens, but like half of it, because it wasn't fully done, and it's a weird case. But yeah, Waiting for the Siren's Call. This was an album that shocked me in a way, because I genuinely thought it was going to be terrible. I've not heard good things about this album, but I think it's underrated. I will tell you that. I think this is one of the most underrated New Order albums. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad album. Honestly, it's pretty good, but like for New Order standards, it's okay, is what I'd say. The standout songs on this though are, of course, the title track, Waiting for the Siren's Call, Crafty, and Morning, Night, and Day, that is what's on that way. And those 3 songs are my personal favourites. The title track, most of the time the title tracks always kind of are like the standouts, and there's a reason they are the title tracks, you know. Crafty is an interesting one. I feel like it's almost a reference to Kraftwerk, because if they were inspired by Kraftwerk originally, and this is called Crafty, and it sounds kind of Kraftwerk-like, which is interesting, because this is in 2005, which is way past that kind of time period. But yeah, and Morning, Night, and Day, I don't think that's a popular opinion. I don't think people think this is a good one, but personally, I like this song quite a lot. And they're the 3 standout songs, in my opinion. And everything else is okay. I think there's a few that I dislike more. Working Overtime's a pretty bad closer, honestly. But overall, this is an underrated album, and if you haven't heard it, I would say listen to this album. This is the first one I think I'd say, yeah, listen to this if you haven't heard it. It's overhated. I will say the album cover sucks. I don't know what they were going for, but it's so bland and boring. It's just straight up like white background with orange text saying no. I mean, can you get much more boring? There must be another meaning to this, surely, because it's so boring, and it just sucks in my opinion. Like, this is the worst album cover in my opinion, and there is some pretty cool album covers in general, but this one is not one of them, because it's so boring and bland, and honestly, it's probably why people don't care about this album. They probably see the album cover and think straight away, yeah, this looks pretty bad. I mean, this is new in 2005, they're probably not that great anymore, you know, and there's been a massive fallout, and you can see why this album is as underrated as it is, or as, I guess, kind of hated. I don't know. But give it a shot. I think it's actually quite a decent album. And yeah, even though it's at number 7, I still think it's actually quite a good album. Again, overall, I don't think there's any bad New Order albums. Like, they did a pretty decent job at staying good, compared to the Prodigy, which made probably one of the worst albums I've ever heard. And that is that they made nothing anywhere near as bad as that, in my opinion. So yeah, let's move on to number 6. And I feel like this is an album some people will get with and some people won't get with, and this is the weird album, in my opinion, that personally I'm just not a fan of. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm not a fan really of number 6 that much. which is Brotherhood. Yeah, this is the album I feel like most people say you either love it or hate it, and I personally don't like it. It was a disappointing album when I heard it at the time, and it still isn't really that good in my opinion. And it's because they just kind of went for a very industrial like sound in my opinion, and it's a very different sounding album to anything else before it. This almost feels like the beginning of Get Ready in a way, or like the start of them preparing to make Get Ready, I guess, even though this came out way before then. As this came out in 1986, that came out in 2001, so pretty big difference. But again, I don't like many of the songs on this, but obviously the songs that I do like, one in particular is one of my, it made my top 100 favorite songs. Well, actually, it was a runner. It actually didn't make it in the top 100, and I think it was like one or two more. I think, honestly, I think it was like one song, like one off from being number 100. And that was Bizarre Love Triangle, the massive song. It's a very popular song. It's known, I think if you heard it, you probably would have heard it. It's a very good song. I don't think I really need to say that, honestly. Like, this song, everyone already knows how good it is. It's a great song. It carries this album, in my opinion. It's also weird because I'm pretty sure it's a single. This is one of the few times they put a single on the album, and honestly, without this album would be like number 9 in my opinion. But because of that song, it has to go up to number 6, I'm afraid. Angel Dust is another really good song. I do like Angel Dust, and even Every Little Counts, the closer, is a nice, charming song. I like that you have Bernard kind of chuckling almost. It's funny. I don't know, I find that funny that they kept that in, because you just hear him like mess up, but they kept it in because it's kind of nice, you know, as a singer, and it's a nice closer, honestly, to the album. It's calm, relaxing, it's a bit different. It's nice, I like it. And at number 5, I don't know how people are going to feel about me putting it here, because again, it almost feels like a love it or hate it album. But it is Movement. It is New Order's first studio album. The first album they released after Ian Curtis kind of took his own life, and then went from Joy Division to New Order, you know. And honestly, it's kind of sad hearing this album because it's quite a depressing album, and obviously that's just because they were in a very depressive kind of state. The issue with this album is they tried to be Joy Division without Ian Curtis, which is very hard because Ian Curtis had a very unique voice, and Bernard Summers tries to do that, but fails quite bad. And I'm glad they changed after this album, but I still think they made quite a decent amount of songs that I quite like on this album. I've listened to the Joy Division albums as well, but personally, I hate to be boring, but like my favorite song has got to be like, I'm not that big of a Joy fan. I've listened to both albums, but yeah, not really a fan of them. And again, I hate to be boring, but Love Will Tear Us Apart is definitely my favorite Joy Division song. I know that's boring, but I don't know, man. That's really the standout in my opinion. It almost sounded like New Order, which is stupid, kind of, I don't know to say, but it was going in a bit of a different route, and then obviously it changed. But anyway, let's get back on track to Movement. So the opener, Dreams Never End, is by far the best song on this. It's got a great kind of tune to it. It kind of sounds a little happier. It It doesn't sound too actually sad compared to a lot of the other songs on this, and I think this is just a nice little happy, fun little tune. It's not one of my favorite songs by the New Order, but it's a nice one. It's my favorite song by far on this album. And then second one is Truth, which is, again, I like this song. I think it's one of the better songs on this album. I quite like Truth. Census, I'm not really a fan of. Chosen Time, I like Chosen Time a lot. I like Chosen Time quite a lot. Actually, I'm trying to remember, like, there's a unique part to Chosen Time, and I really like it. ICB is probably the weakest that I like. I feel like a lot of people don't like this song, but I actually kind of like it. It's a little more dull. It's a very dull song, actually, but it's the last song on this album I like, and then after the last 3 songs, I don't really like at all. So this album has, like, it has 4 songs I like, which is why it's a number 5 and not a number 6 or 7, I think. But honestly, Bizarre Love Triangle is just, and a lot of songs I prefer from the other albums I've already mentioned. But this has more songs that I enjoy, so I thought I'd give it, and also I have to give a bit more respect because it was their first album, and for a first album after everything, I respect that they didn't just quit their career and they just started a whole new kind of band. Got some new members, and tried to replicate Joy Division, but didn't do that. So then they went their own path after this, and I think they did, and I think that's cool. I think it's a good thing they did that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have New Order now, would we? But yeah, it's a pretty good album, I'd say. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm honestly in the middle with this album. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. So, yeah. Also, Nothing But a Fool is, again, I'm not really a fan of that song either. It's okay. Again, these are songs that are okay. I'm not hating these songs, but they're a bit weak in my opinion. And then we get Unlearn This Hatred, which is a song I actually quite like as well. I think it's a pretty decent, really good song. And I honestly wish the album just ended here. I feel like it would make a really good, like, close of this song. But there's also 2 other songs which are not really that big of a fan of. The Game, I don't know, man. I'm not really a fan of it. And Superheated is probably the weakest song on this album, which is a shame to say, but the closer isn't really that great. But it wasn't New Order's final song, because I'm gonna be honest, this is one of the reasons I am wondering if they'll carry on with making like songs still, because like more albums, maybe, possibly, because they did actually release, even though we're going back kind of a bit ago now, but they did actually release a single in 2020 called Be a Rebel, and as funny as the song is, it's a really good one. So yeah, so at number 3, it is, I feel like people are not going to be happy with this answer. I'm sorry. At number 3, it is Power, Corruption, and Lies. Listen, I know this is a lot of people's favorite New Order album, but it's my 3rd favorite. Okay, I really do like this album. Okay, but there's a few I'm not as a fan of on this album, but overall I do like this album. And you know, this album came out after Movement. It's the second album that released in 1983, and honestly I think this is a way better album than Movement. But anyway, let's get, so I guess now I'm probably gonna go through each individual song properly. So Age of Consent is a really good opener. We All Stand is another really good song I like a lot. The Village, another really cool one. 586 is a weird one, but it's actually my favorite song off this album, and it has a lot of craft work, like inspired things with how it starts and progresses. It's a bit different to every other song. I really like that about this song, on this album in general, I guess, as well. But yeah, I don't know, I really like that song. Your Silent Face is another really good one. I like Your Silent Face a lot. It's a bit more happy, I feel like, and I just like that a lot. Like, it's got this cool like opener part, and I feel like it's kind of iconic with the. It feels like kind of. It feels very iconic, this tune. The Your Silent Face, in my opinion. Ultraviolence is probably, well, is probably my least favorite, well, my second least favorite on this album. I still think it's pretty good, but it isn't as good, in my opinion. And then Ecstasy is a really good song as well. I like that a lot. I think I really like the beat. It's got a lot of this song kind of sounds kind of like Blue Monday in a way to me. I feel like that might just be me. I don't know. And then it's also got a bit of robot voices, which is kind of cool. But that was a terrible, but yeah. And honestly, the only song I don't like on this album is Leave Me Alone. Like, and it's just a bit slow. And I don't know, it's a bit too similar to a lot of the other songs on this album, so it's actually my least favorite, and I think that's quite a controversial thing to say, but personally, I don't know. Leave Me Alone is actually the only song I don't have on my playlist. It's a song I don't like as much, but every other song I really like. I think this is such a good album. It's literally got like almost every song I like so much on this. I would highly give this a listen if you're into it. Like, or just, I think this is a great starter album as well. By new order, I think this is a really good starter album to listen to. If you like it, then you should listen to the rest of their albums, most of their other albums, skip Republic. But yeah, it's a really good album as well. And I know it's a number 3 now, number 1. Personally, it doesn't have my favorite songs, and honestly, I'm gonna hand on heart, if it had Blue Monday on it, it might be a number 2. But because it's missing Blue Monday, I put it at number 3. I know it's a whole thing with, oh, they won't put singles on their albums. But why did they not put Blue Monday on this album? It came out a similar time to this. I don't understand why. Honestly, if this had Blue Monday, then it would be so, like, perfect. They'd be such a good album, but it's so sad, you know. Just get rid of Leave Me Alone and put Blue Monday on, you know. Replace it. And, but no, it's not the case. It's still a very good album. Highly recommend. So there's 2 spots left. So which 2 albums is it? Which one is at number 2? And which one is at number 1? Well, at number 2, just missing out on being my favorite New Order album, is Low Life. Yep, Low Life. You know, I don't know if that's a controversial opinion, putting that above Power, Corruption and Lies, but personally I have, because it has a lot of my favorite songs on this album. There's less songs that I like as a whole on this album, but the songs I really like, I really like. So let's start off with, I'm not a fan of the opener, Love Vigilante. This is not one of my favourite New Order songs. Not really on the sound at all. I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it at all. I just think it's kind of bland and basic, and I don't think there's anything really on this that personally gives it a hook. Especially comparing it to the single on this album, which is actually one of my favorite songs by New Order, which is The Perfect Kiss. This is such a good song. I love the tune. I love the middle where it's like this whole, like, I don't know, drum guitar beat in like the middle of the song. It's so good. Has a great chorus. This is such a good song. And then This Time of Night is the next song, which again I think is really, I think it's as good, but I think it's still a really good song. I like it a lot on this album. Then Sunrise, kind of, I'm not really a fan of Sunrise. Then after that we've got Legion, which is actually my favorite song from this album. It's also one of my favorite songs in general, or New Order songs, as it did actually make the top 100. And even though it's an instrumental, it's so good. I love how it starts off really slow and calming, and then it just, you know, you're just waiting for it to just pick up, and oh, it's so good. And it goes back down, and then it goes back up, and it's such a good, like, instrumental. It's very good. There's a reason it's the most popular song on this album. It's really good, even though it's an instrumental. Which is not something you can often say about, I don't know, New Order. But they put it off here. Sooner Than You Think is another. I like this. I like this song a lot. I think it has a chorus, and I think it has a good hook. So yeah, I don't know. I like this song a lot. Subculture is another. I like the synth in this a lot. I think it has a good, another really good beat to it as well. And I don't know, I like Subculture as well a lot. It's another really good song, but like, again, I just like a lot of the songs even more on this album than Power, Corruption and Lies. Basil, the closer, is a little weak, I will say that. Like, I'm not really a fan of Faisal really at all. I think it's a weak closer, personally. And that's the entire album. So yeah, so that's why it's the number 2 personally. I really like this album. It was the album that I really enjoyed a lot. Pound Crushing Lies took a couple of listens for me to really get into, but this one, I really like this album from the start on. Well, after the first song, I really liked this album on first listen. And honestly, I didn't think there was going to be a better album. I thought this was probably going to be my favorite album by New Order. But then came along number one, not long late after, a couple albums later, and then we hit my favorite album, which I actually own, which is, of course, Technique. Now, Technique. While this, what an album. First of all, what a weird and really interesting cover. But two, this is like, so this was New Order's 5th album, and it released in 1989, and I think it is an incredible album. I love this album a lot. You would have seen a few of the songs made it up on quite high on this, and one of them is the first song, which is Fine Time. And I know a lot of people don't like this song because it's a bit too weird for them, a bit too electronic. Personally, I really like, I really like this song a lot. It's one of my favorite songs on this album, and that is already something that a lot of people aren't gonna be happy with, because they don't like this album, or they don't like this song that much compared to a lot of people. But Fine Time, I really like it. I think it's such a good song. It's just weird, but I love it. You know, it's just a fun electronic song. I think it's really one of the most experimental New Order songs out there, and it's really good. Then you've got All the Way, and it goes down back more into the simple New Order, like the normal traditional New Order. And it's alright. It feels good. Lower, in my opinion. Loveless is kind of the same, not really a fan of them too. But then you get Round and Round, and that is another really good song. I like Round a lot. Round is really good. It's got a good catchy. It's very catchy. It's just fun. I love the synths are back and the electronic side's kind of fully back now. And you have Guilty Partner, which I'm not really a fan of. And then Run. And I think this is a bit interesting, but I actually like Run quite a lot, surprisingly. But Run is actually a really good one. And then then you've got, this seems to be people's another one of people's least favorite songs, but I actually really like this song, which is another strange case, but Mr. Disco. Personally, I really like this song, but a lot of people don't like this song. I actually do like this song a lot. I think it's kind of because it gets overshadowed by the next song. But I like Mr. Disco a lot then, but I think it gets overshadowed by Vanishing Point, which is the highest rated song on this album, a lot of people's favorite songs. And although it's not my favorite song on this album, it's still one of my favorite songs. It's such a good song. Like, everything about it. It's got the fun synth. It's got a good hook. It's just got everything about this song. It's so good. It's a really good song. I feel like it's a better version of Mr. Disco, which is why people don't like Mr. Disco that much. And it just brings back a lot of the fun synths a lot. And then, honestly, in my opinion, this is the best closer to the New Order did, and it is Dream Attack. I love this song as well. I think it is up there with another one of my favorite songs from New Order and on this album. Dream Attack is my favorite again. I think it's the best closer they ever did. It's such a good closer, and it's just got a good hook. It's got a good beat again. It's really nice. It fits. It's perfectly after Vanishing Point, and it works. And I think it's a bit weird as a closer because it doesn't really have that closer feeling to it. So maybe it's not great as a closer, but as the final song of this album, it's really good. And I think as a song in general, it's really good. So again, you might be questioning why this is number one, because there's actually a few songs I'm not a fan of, but like, there's 9 songs on this album. Out of the 9, 3 of them I don't like. But even me saying I don't like it's like a stretch, because like All the Way is really not that bad. I still quite like All the Way. It's just one of my weaker songs on this album. That's not saying I still think All the Way is really good. Loveless is my least favorite song on this album by a long shot. I think it's the weakest one in my opinion. It's just a bit duller. It doesn't fit the rest of the mood, because every other one's more. Because every other song kind of has a bit more of an upbeat to it, although Guilty Partner is, again, it sounds kind of like it should be on another album. Those 3 are a bit weird to me, but every other song is so good. I own this album already. This is the first only New Order album I own right now. And I really like it. I have this on a lot. And yeah, again, it has a lot of my favorite songs. Fine Time, Round and Round, Mr. Disco, Vanishing Point, Dream Attack. It's such a good album. Like, honestly, they did so well with this album, and then after this came Public, like, damn. It's like they hit peak, and then they dropped off, but then they managed to recover later on. But yeah, so there you have it. New Order's a weird case, because a lot of my favorite New Order songs aren't even on albums, because they wrote this, again, a weird singles thing where they don't like releasing singles on albums, which is fair enough. But again, just to like my actual favorite New Order song isn't even on any of the albums, and it's Shell Shock. Originally it was called Shell Cock, which is pretty funny. But yeah, that's not on here. World. Like, there's a lot of songs that some of my favorite songs that just aren't on here specifically, which is a little weird, I guess, in a way. True Faith is another one of my favorite New Order songs, which isn't on here. Confusion, another one of my favorite songs, not on an album. Like, there's a lot of Blue Monday, even though it's not in my top 100, Blue Monday is a really good song. It's, if you listen to that and you will know, and I can guarantee you would have heard that song. By New Order. I played it as the intro, kind of, to the video. But yeah, there you have it. Is New Order going to release a new album? I doubt it. I think that's done. If they don't release one this year, then 10 years is a long time to go, like, release an album. And the 10th album, it feels like a good way to end. And end on a banger, which they have with Music Complete, honestly being my opinion, their best album since Technique, which is a massive deal, because that's so many years later. Like, I'm glad that they managed to do as well as they did for their final album, as for Atmosphere. But this is like a band that has some really good songs, and honestly, there's no bad albums. I'm really happy. I think they have a great balance of albums, and none of them are really bad, except Public, which is massively carried by that. And again, Get Ready probably should have been number 9, but personally, I just don't like any of the songs on that compared to that. Anyway, on board you're gonna see the you can see the order of all 10 albums. I know 10's a lot now, we really are getting into the bigger state. But yeah, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can tell me your opinions. If you think Pudding Technique number 1 is stupid and dumb, or you think Power Corruption, Lies, or whatever it is, should be number 1, fair enough. Personal Technique is my favorite. They're like kind of the two I think that people put either number 1 or number 4, or they're like the two that people would have at number 1 most of the time. Yeah, I hope I don't have any outrageous takes in this video. But yeah, there we have it. So what is next up? Well, next up in the next video, I will be ranking every Chemical Brothers album. So yeah, bit of a change. We're going for real proper electronic party music, or rave music. It's kind of almost back into like Prodigy kind of in the next video with the Chemical Brothers, which is genuinely actually one of my favorite bands of all time. Like the like artists, like these Prodigy, New Order, like I like their songs a lot, and I think they have made some really good songs. But like, I would put the Chemical Brothers in my top 3 favorite artists of all time. So I'm excited for that. I hope you are. If you don't know them, then you'll have to wait until my video. Again, there's quite a lot of albums, but I have actually listened to every Chemical Brothers album already, so that will make this a lot easier than this one where I had to listen to everything after Technique. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.